What's up, guys? Chad Hogan Live, coming back at you with another commentary. Today I want to talk about the legendary musician Brian Wilson's death and how it affects me. The Beach Boys first came into my life when I was a kid, and my Uncle Dave, every time I came over to his house, he would be listening to the Beach Boys like it was the only band that ever existed. All I heard when I went to Uncle Dave's was California Girls and all their other great songs. I just can't imagine a time when I was a kid that I was at Uncle Dave's and he wasn't playing the Beach Boys, okay? So I didn't think much of it back then. It was just a normal part of going over to Uncle Dave's, crazy old Uncle Dave playing the Beach Boys and ordering pizza. But as I got older, I really didn't fit in with mainstream musical tastes, and I'm not some sort of music snob. I don't really cover music on my channel. I've been drumming on and off for about 20 years. I'm a casual drummer. I think I'm okay and I can hold a beat. I have an electronic set of drums that I play. I'm no Beach Boy. Let's just put it that way, okay? But when I got older and I started finding my own music that I liked, it was definitely classic rock. And as much as I love stuff from the 70s and 80s, which Beach Boys are also a part of very much, but it was the Beatles and it was the Beach Boys that really spoke to me, okay? As I was a young man in college, this was how I shaped my identity. I want it to look like how these guys looked back then, back in like '08 or whatever, right? That's how old I am, folks, okay? But I was in college in 2008 and I want it to look like a friggin' Beach Boy. Now, I live in Canada, the absolute furthest place away from California that you could ever imagine. But here I am, soloing Beach Boy tunes on my cajon and pretending I'm a freaking Beatle when I'm out. Like, I want that messy hair and the yo man, pro-marijuana, hippie kind of tie-dye era going on in my head. And for a long time, I just kind of grew with music and liked other bands and still listen to the Beach Boys. I'd hear them at work. Somebody would hum a tune. I'd hear it in a car. I was always in touch with my inner Brian Wilson, okay? Even more so than Paul McCartney or John Lennon or even, the great Ringo Starr. Brian Wilson was kind of what I identified with. And I felt like when Brian Wilson died, a little piece of me died, okay? It was unexpected. The Beach Boys were going to go on tour this fall, I believe. So you don't line up a tour if you think something's going to happen. He was only 82 years old. I just feel like he had so much more to contribute to music. Brian Wilson. The rest of the band is great, and I'm not super familiar with every single Beach person out there, but if it wasn't for Brian Wilson, I would have never gotten into music. Like I said, I don't fancy myself an expert musician or nothing. You won't be calling me Fantano anytime soon, okay? But I definitely feel like when I play music that Brian Wilson is with me, in a sense. Does that sound crazy? Like I said, more so than John Lennon or Paul McCartney or any of the other great musicians of our times, like David Gilmour or Tom Petty or Michael Jackson or whoever. This one really hit me the hardest, although David Gilmour is alive still. But I will always cherish the music that Brian Wilson created. This Canadian here identifies himself as a sort of Beach Boy, a Beach Boy in training, if you will. And I will always carry on the great legacy that Brian Wilson impressed me with. And on an unrelated topic, kind of, I had a teacher in college named Brian Wilson, so that's pretty cool. I always pretended he was Brian Wilson, the Beach Boy, teaching me how to video edit. He was my editing professor. But anyways, super shout out to the Beach Boys, and I really hope that all the fans out there hear this and understand this. Please leave a comment telling me about your experiences with the Beach Boys, whether it happened recently or whether it happened 50 years ago. I want to hear from all generations. Hit the like, subscribe to Chad Hogan Live, and tell your friends about the channel. Thank you so much, and God bless you, Brian Wilson. I wish we were all California girls, I wish they all could be California. I wish they all could be California. I wish they all could be California.